Hey guys, my name is Micah, or Keeter. You might know me as that guy that told you he's a Jade Rabbit a year before it was meta, and then it got nerfed to the ground. Rest in peace, my favorite exotic. You read the title. I'm gonna complain about Destiny 2, mostly PvP, but also kind of more than that. Um, and it's kind of to the point where the game is just showing either its age or its lack of care from the developer side. I'm thinking it's both. I mean, I know the engine's old, so there is that factor. Anyway, if this video reaches out to more people than have subscribers, which sometimes happens, sometimes doesn't, you should subscribe. Maybe leave a like if you agree with the video, or if you don't, just boost my ego. But yeah, anyway, if you're new, drop a sub. I'm making content slowly. I'm just like drip feeding it, mostly out of my own laziness. But I mean, it's not my job, so like, it's not like I have anything to worry about. I make videos whenever I feel like it, which I think is a nice, healthy thing to do. Okay, so PvP, the only thing I play, pretty much. I have 3,000 hours in the game. On Steam, I think I'm at 2,100, 2,200. I had lots of time in BattleNet, and that's not even counting the time I had in D1. I already know. Mike is going to talk about skill-based matchmaking. Yeah, you bet your sweet bippy I am. Skill-based matchmaking, while in essence, is not a bad thing. I cannot say I totally hate skill-based matchmaking in other games with systems built to run skill-based matchmaking, like Overwatch. That has great skill-based matchmaking, I think. I can go in, play quick play. Sometimes, sure, you'll get tilted. That's literally true in any PvP game, any multiplayer game, you can get tilted. You can get tilted in Forza, you can get tilted in GTA 5, you can get tilted in Smite, in Overwatch, in Splatoon 3 for the 4 of you that play that, or like all the neckbeards that play that. Sorry, not calling you out. I've never played the game. It might be great for all I know. You can get tilted in Wii Sports. In fact, that kind of warrants getting tilted in that game. Anyway, skill-based matchmaking effectively ruined Crucible. And it's not even subjective. If you are in the top, I don't know what percent, I've generally been in the top 2 to 0.5%. It is just a ruined game. That's not an opinion. That is literally just true. The game is so laggy. People will kill you from other side of the map right when you spawn. You'll never see them. I can only imagine where they actually are or where they actually saw you, but it does not make sense. And that's really sad because a year ago, a little over a year ago, the 30th anniversary was released. With the 30th anniversary, a new sandbox was introduced. And oh my goodness, it might have been the best sandbox Destiny 2 has ever had. If not, it was one of the sandboxes of Forsaken. But man, that was such a fun time. And I think generally everybody would agree with me. If you don't agree, that probably tells me that you are a below average player that was getting stomped on to the point where you refused to get better and you blamed the game for your lack of skill. And yes, I am saying that is a skill issue, because it is. If you can't adapt, it's a skill issue. So then you're probably saying, why can't you adapt to the top 1%? Because when your internet connection is the best you can get in the town, which, FYI, if you have Xfinity, you know how bad your internet is and how lackluster it can be compared to other providers. My town only gets Xfinity. There is nothing better I can get than Xfinity. And I'll be playing with people teleporting around the map. And that's true for pretty much everybody at the top of the chain, top of the, pyramid in PvP. That's not okay. If Bungie had dedicated servers and not the peer-to-peer we use now, I would probably be okay. No, I would be okay with skill-based matchmaking. It would take a game that's, I'm not going to say unplayable, but a game that's not fairly playable and make it tolerable. Granted, it's quick play. I don't think skill should be a factor in quick play, or if it is a factor, the teams should be balanced perfectly. I think there should be an in-game MMR that we can all see, not this invisible stat that Bungie says they go off of that nobody knows anything about. The closest thing we get to a stat is Destiny Tracker's ELO, which I think is a great thing. Like, it's not official, but I'm imagining it's pretty close. In addition to this, because the player count has, I would say, drastically dropped. I think when the season, when not the season, the DLC, Witch Queen came out, there was an average of like 100k on Steam for weeks, maybe a month. Then like 80k in through August. Then we had, you know, like that 30k month or two. And now we're up to 50 to 60k players that consistently play the game. I say consistently because Bungie bragged about having 5 million new Guardians this year. And that number doesn't show. And they have shown pictures. I can try to find them. I don't know where they came from, but I've seen them on other creators' videos where Steam has got to the point where it is pretty evenly 1/3 of the population of Destiny split between Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. Steam. It is pretty much exactly 1/3. I think it has a little bit more than Xbox. I think. I can't remember off the top of my head. You'll probably see the picture unless I couldn't find it anywhere of like officially. And the problem is Bungie decided to cater towards the players that complained about having to go to the Crucible to get their pinnacle weapons. You know, 3 matches. Too much of a baby to play 3 matches. Even though they really probably didn't need that pinnacle except for just the raid race, which, you know, 1 week. Oh my, you have to sit in 10 or 3 Crucible matches. It could take you 30 minutes. You don't have to win. You just have to play 3. Sure, it kind of sucks if you know you're going to lose, but that should be a reason to want to get better. Especially when you already take the game serious enough to want to race in a raid, you should also probably want to be good at PvP, but that's just the way I think. And the thing is, I highly doubt that changed with skill-based. I bet you those players that were only playing Crucible to get their pinnacle are still only playing Crucible to get their pinnacle. If you're not, let me know. If you're watching this video, please tell me how wrong I am. Oh man, I love internet fights. Because of that small pool of players, I mean, like what, 1% of 50 to 60k, that's not many people. The ping is just so high. I know Bungie doesn't give us real ping, they give us those bars that go up or down. Because of the high ping and internet that you can't control based on where you live, you can get DC'd. And if you get DC'd, I think 3 times in a short amount of time, you get a competitive, air quotes there, timeout. Competitive in a casual mode. I understand it in a comp mode. Comp should have had skill-based, but not anymore, because now that comp has ranks, skill-based doesn't make sense, because the ranks themselves would separate you into skill. So having skill-based in comp is just redundant, it doesn't make any sense, and nobody really thought about it. And you literally can't argue with me there, because that's just factually true. Next, moving on, the 1%'s meta, complete garbage. There needs to be sandbox changes. The ability spam, nuts. I understand, I like abilities, but there needs to be changes. And they said changes would come post Lightfall, so we're looking at least a season of just crazy, and who knows what Strand's gonna do. I'm excited, to be completely honest. The weapons they're using, DMT, is just popping. You're seeing me use DMT now. I'm not good with it because I just got the catalyst. I'm not used to it. And I'm not faulting anybody that uses the OP weapons because they want to have an easier time. But when you like to, when your whole point of playing the game was having fun using off-meta weapons and watching them work sometimes just as well as the meta weapons. Seeing the current state of the Crucible is disheartening because you cannot do that if you are a high skill player. It's actually impossible. You might get a good game, a lucky game, but if you consistently play against the same people, which granted, I might see the same 30 or 40 people throughout the week multiple times. You just can't use crazy weird weapons. You're limited to like the 6 or 7, if you're lucky 7, different primary weapons. It's not good. 6 months ago, you could have pretty much used, I'll be generous and say you could have used, no, I'll be not generous, and I'll say the meta consists of 10 weapons, when I could probably think of at least like 15 or 16 different primary alone weapons that were feasible and good. Which is sad, because I want to be able to use a bunch of these crafted weapons. I think the SMG from last season looks really good. Don't know what it's called, but it looks really cool. There is all the weapons from Season of Haunted I think are awesome, but they don't compare to DMT, Disparity. What else are people using? But that's it. Rant over. I'm out of steam. I'll see you guys on the next one. Later.